News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM. We are KFYO Mornings. Dave King and Matt Martin here on your radio. And as promised, we have the head man, the number one guy with the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce.
The president and CEO.
The president and CEO.
Absolutely.
Mr. Eddie McBride.
Dave, Matt, good to see y'all.
Good to see you too.
Happy March to you guys. Almost madness time here.
Almost.
Pretty
It's
quick.
getting really close. I'm excited about Tech being in the tournament.
Yeah, in Dallas. What a sweet deal. Stephen F. Austin get a Texas team to start
Man,
with.
they got one heck of a draw on that one, getting up into 3 after losing their last games there, and then pulling a Texas team and being able to stay in Texas to play. I mean, the whole thing ended up really going their direction.
A lot of respect to the program, I think, is what that was shown in the respects. There was a lot of teams who, obviously, down the stretch, getting ready for postseason, didn't do as well. But nonetheless, it's great to yeah. But having a chance to go and see them, it would have been nice to have gotten the regional here, of course.
Yeah,
but that's a little bit difficult to do. But nonetheless, it'll be fun to get everybody to Dallas to watch the game. That'll be like a home game for both of them almost.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as about the same amount of drive for Stephen F. and us.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more Tech fans there just because it's a much larger school.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it'll feel like a home game to those guys because, I mean, they've just done astronomical at home, and I'd really love to see them win.
Well, we wish them the best.
I'd like to see them get at least to the Sweet 16, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they made it a little further.
Oh, my gosh, that would be so. And it's, that's March Madness also means bracketology. I mean, my gosh, I don't even know if I'm going to do a bracket this year. I got it sitting on my desk at work, and you're not supposed to do that stuff while you're at work, but can't help but glance over it occasionally.
It's only 68 teams that you have to figure out.
Yeah. And there's those first 4 to start with, and then that's probably the first place where you screw up your bracket.
Yeah.
Because you know absolutely nothing about some of those smaller teams.
Well, tell me, is the chamber open this week?
Yes, we certainly are. This is spring break. Everybody thinks it's just like Christmas holidays. It is. Work goes on.
It has gotten that way. Spring break used to not be the issue that it is now.
But it is. I mean, you can tell it's slightly.
The town shuts down, man.
Well, when students run off, too, it's just like in the summer, right when they first get out of school after May. There's a big pause, if you will.
Yeah.
But, life goes on, but still, nonetheless, it's not as busy.
Well, is there anything new and exciting happening at the chamber?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. We're planning for a lot of upcoming events. We got a lot of good things going on, like we were just talking about off air, the tax cut act, and stuff like that. We're going to go see Congressman Arrington. We had a meeting with him a couple of weeks ago where we had a lot of businesses sit around our table and tell him how it's impacting them, and so he went back with a lot of information about how folks are already plowing money back into their business, and also the employees that are able to see a little bit of tax cut on their withholding taxes, those that get it taken out. So I think all in all, that seems from a business community perspective, things to be positive going forward.
Are these tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, are we seeing any effect of that in local businesses?
Sure. We hear a lot of them already. I mean, what they're talking about is a lot of folks gave back business bonuses to their employees already.
Mm-hmm. Even in Lubbock.
Even in Lubbock. Absolutely. And you see folks are, like even my small little business, folks are seeing a little bit of more money in their take-home pay because, again, less withholding because they lowered the brackets. And so I think in that respect, it might not be a tremendous amount of money, but nonetheless, whenever you get a little bit more money, you go buy more beer, that's nice.
People who are living paycheck to paycheck, like many of us did when we were young and had a young family.
And still happening.
$30, $40 is a couple of bags of groceries.
Absolutely. Yes, it certainly is. So it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
And it did. And now they're like, also we were talking off air, there's a lot of folks that haven't seen anything yet. Folks who might not see anything for a while. There's folks that are speculating they might not see anything at all. But we did a survey, and 71% of the Chamber business members responded saying that it was going to have a positive impact on their business.
Well, that's great. That's great news to hear.
That's good.
Let me ask you this: Have you been watching the changes to Dodd-Frank they're trying to push through?
Yeah, and that's going to be.
How's that going to affect small business? Because it seems like Dodd-Frank really hurt the banking industry as well as a lot of small businesses as far as how they banked and how they did their credit cards and all that stuff. So do you think this is going to help small businesses at all?
Absolutely, because, Matt, the regulatory nature of banking was really after the 2008 debacle. I mean, it really did. They put too much crimps on them, and you'll find even local banks, and you're not talking about just the big banks, you're talking about even local banks as well. In less regulatory, they can spend more time, number one, on their customers and less time on regulation, but more so than anything else. What I'm hoping to see, and what we've been told, is going to be freeing up some of the cash for small businesses to get loans and things of that nature. The small business loans have always been available, but it is in the past have been very difficult to get. So therefore, the competition and everything for it's been greater. So now what we think is going to happen, you free up some of that regulatory nature, and it might free up a little bit more cash flow to the small businesses. So that's what we're hoping for.
So have you heard an issue as far as credit card fees? Because I talked to a lot of small businesses, and I've heard that a lot of them spend $20,000-$30,000 a year just on credit card fees.
Yeah, and
the consumer has no idea.
Yeah, and what the fear is that those fees continue going up, and so obviously it's going to take a bigger chunk out of any profit they might see. And
they have to turn around and put the money towards the consumer, but the consumer doesn't understand it.
Oh yeah, well, it's just like anything that goes up. That's why when things happen like minimum wage increases and changes and those things, especially when they're government directed, when it's not private enterprise directed, it's a little bit worse deal for our business community in that respect. So anytime you see an increase in the cost of services, the cost of goods, it's going to end up being reflected back down to the customer, obviously.
The customer always pays in the bottom line.
That's right.
Like corporate taxes.
Absolutely.
Customer pays the corporate taxes.
And
corporations don't.
And that's our free market enterprise system, which we personally, we all like that free market enterprise system. That's what our country's business base is built on.
You bet. Quick break, and we'll be right back with more of Eddie McBride from Lubbock Chamber of Commerce. Okay, News Talk, 95.1 FM, 790 AM. We have some breaking news this morning, and one that really shocks me. Washington Post reporting that President Trump has fired Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. I'm blindsided by that one. I sure didn't see that coming.
Yeah, right here in this difficult negotiations with what's going on with North Korea, too.
Yeah, I don't know what blew up that deal.
Well, there's constant turmoil in the West Wing, and so with his cabinet secretaries, that's not unusual. But Pompeo is going to be a good choice for Secretary of State.
Yeah.
But kind of makes you wonder what's going on.
Well, once again, President Trump fires Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Well, we're back here on KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin, with Eddie McBride, who is the head man at the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce. Got a wine tasting coming up next month, do we not?
We do. In April, we have both the Uncorked Wine Dinner, which is on April the 12th, and then the Uncorked Wine event is April 27th.
Where will it be this year?
It's going to be the Uncorked Wine event will be back out at the Wind Power Museum. So that's good. It's a great venue. We got a lot of space and got outdoor area as well. Plus, it's got a classroom area so that we can do our education program. So it's a good deal.
Are you going to have more wineries and vineyards than
going to be Texas
before,
concentrating on? We're going to have probably the same amount, if not a few more, but we're going to concentrate on Texas wines this year.
Okay.
So that is the logical. We're in Texas, and the biggest grape growing area in the state of Texas is right out here in between us and South Seminole. So that's great. So, and I think that's the right thing to do. But that doesn't mean that there won't be potentially some other wines from outside of Texas that'll be there, of course. But again, we'll be doing the craft beer thing. We'll have food trucks, and we'll have something to eat, and we'll have music, and so it's going to be a very fun affair. I mean, the last 2 years, first 2 years we've done it, it's been a great time, and I think it'll be another great time this year.
Okay, and again, the dates?
April 27th, Friday, is the Uncorked Wine event, and if anybody's interested in the wine dinner, that's where you pair the different food with the wines. That's going to be on April 12th. So more information at www.lubbockchamber.com.
Okay.
go look and find out, and all the pricing and the times and everything else. The dinner obviously will be in the evening, but the wine event will start at 5 o'clock out at the Wind Tower Museum.
So the actual dinner's on a Thursday night.
Yeah, it's going to be different. We're going to separate the two instead of having the dinner the night before, trying to maximize the opportunity for folks from out of town to attend the event. So that'll work. So and real happy to do it again. It's kind of a fun event overall, but it's also the original intent was to celebrate grape growers, to celebrate wine makers, and to celebrate folks like us that are wine drinkers. So give us all something to celebrate, So.
Well, I'm ready to celebrate, that's for sure.
And next week we have our Salute to Ag Luncheon, which is obviously the Chamber, one of the first committees that the Chamber formed when we got started back in 1913 was an Ag Committee. So we've been, God bless you, Matt. So we're going to salute the ag. We're going to have Aaron Alejandro. He is the Texas FAA Foundation Executive Director from Wichita Falls, come to town. He's the former state FFA head guy, so he's coming to do the salute ag presentation. So it's going to be a good way for us to recognize the importance of agriculture and the agribusiness in our economy out here in West Texas. Yeah. So, and obviously that'll be fun.
I know that the last time I looked, whatever comes second after ag is way down.
Yeah.
I mean, the first, second, third most important things in this part of the country is cotton, and cotton.
And has been. One of the first things that the Chamber did after they got started in 13, we actually created 16-millimeter films that we sent out through the southeast part of the United States to try to attract cotton farmers to Lubbock. So that's one of the first things we did. So that obviously we have a long historical relationship with the ag economy and the ag producers out here. So that'll be good to have that.
Matt said this morning, he said, my favorite event's coming up at the Chamber next month. And I thought, wait, I know it's got to be the barbecue, and that's in the summer.
All right, that's going to be in October this year. We're actually doing something different with that this year. We're actually going to go out to the fairgrounds. And so we had to wait till after the fair, obviously, and we always couple it with either an away game weekend or a bye weekend. So October 11th, we'll be doing it out at the fairgrounds, and more to follow about that. That's all underway right now from planning and everything. So that's going to be, again, I hate moving it from downtown, but talk about the ease for the people and the ease for
parking.
Parking and ease for the people who are bringing in their cookers and everything, and having it out at the fairground in one giant area out there is going to be so much more logistically manageable for us and for everybody else.
Right.
And so I think that'll be good to do that.
Yeah. Eddie, gosh, that about wraps it up. And we had just seemed like we just got started.
Yes, sir. Well, you guys are a lot of fun to talk to.
Ditto.